Wisconsin, and the world. This is TMJ4 News at 3:30.
And good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this TMJ4 News Native American Heritage Month special.
We have a lot to unpack over the next 30 minutes as we dive into Southeast Wisconsin's Native American community.
As many of us know, cities like Oconomowoc, Milwaukee, and Waukesha have indigenous origins. But did you know there are 11 federally recognized tribal nations in the state of Wisconsin? They include Oneida Nation, Ho-Chunk Nation, and Menominee Indian Tribe. Now, the Brothertown Indian Nation seen on this map is currently not a federal or state recognized nation. Now, according to the Wisconsin Department of Health Services, the Menominee, Chippewa, Potawatomi, and Ho-Chunk peoples were among the original inhabitants of Wisconsin.
Let's talk some more about that history. Margaret Newton, an American Indian Studies professor at UW-Milwaukee. Margaret, thank you for joining us. So we say these names all the time. There are street names, there are the places we live. Tell us about the roots, though, behind the names here in Milwaukee and the surrounding area.
So in Milwaukee, a number of the names are from the Anishinaabe language, and that would include the Odawa, Potawatomi, and Ojibwe people. It is from the Algonquin language family, so it's very close to the Menominee, Cree, and other languages in the Great Lakes region. So Minnewaking, meaning the good land. Kinnickinnick, a familiar road that we all share, means mix it up. There's a lot of ways that the place that we're in, it has meaning beyond just what we see here.
Yeah, it is interesting when you study that. Professor, can you tell us what is the Native American history like in Wisconsin, like some of the battles that they faced and challenges they had to deal with?
So the area that we're in here is the confluence of three rivers, and it's always been a very important space. So the Meskwaki, Miami, other people have been in this space with the Ho-Chunkra and Menominee, the Anishinaabe people. A lot of people have been in this area, and then we were joined by the Oneida and Stockbridge and Muncie folks, and you really have a rich, diverse history, very cosmopolitan place, and it's been that way for a very long time. The last couple of hundred years, people have had to relocate and sometimes assimilate in some ways, but in many, many cases, people have hung on to who they are and kept their identity strong.
So it's been hundreds of years since the first white explorers came here. What do these communities look like today?
They look in some ways just like any other community. Many sovereign nations are running small towns, and they have the same concerns that other small municipalities have, the same challenges, but they're also working to keep longstanding traditions alive and keep languages and cultures and sustainable ways of living in this space going that have continued for a number of centuries.
I think we all just learned something fun right there. Kinnickinnick means mix it up. Well, that's going to stick with me. Margaret Newton, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Thanksgiving is just a couple days away. One professor at UWM is making sure his students learn the true account of Thanksgiving between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag tribe. Professor Michael Wilson teaches the assimilation process where Native American children were ripped from their families and then sent to boarding facilities. Reactions from students who were born in roughly 2001 or 2002 are eye-opening.
I don't remember learning as much as I have in the 2 months that I've been in the class, so it's very informative.
Though their population has significantly diminished, Professor Wilson reminds his students the Wampanoag tribe is still there today. Let's turn our focus now to the impact of COVID-19 on the Native American community.
Joining us now is Dr. Lyle Ignace, CEO of the Gerald Ignace Indian Health Center. We appreciate you being with us this afternoon. Doctor, can you tell us how our Native American communities faring right now when it comes to COVID-19? We know it's hit many communities especially hard.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. The impact on coronavirus with the Native community has been pretty significant. And it's impacted not just the rural areas, but also the urban Native community as well.
How have you and your organization been able to help? This has been a really trying 8 or 9 months for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And what we've been able to do is provide testing upon request based on symptoms. We also been able to extend our community outreach and events mainly by drive-through, as you see here, for the last 6 months. So we've tried to reach out as much as we can in any way possible.
And can you tell us what resources the health center actually provides for people and how they can be accessed for those who might need them?
Yeah, so we're a full ambulatory center, both primary care, behavioral health, pediatrics, OB, dentistry. Aside from the medical, we also provide resources and supportive community members and activities. So events like today, particularly in the pandemic, we offer a Safer at Home kit, which has personal hygiene as well as personal items to help keep one's family safe.
Well, Dr. Lyle Ignace, we appreciate you being with us this afternoon, offering us insight. And we wanted to let all our viewers know we do have information for that webinar up at tmj4.com/links. And as always, for the very latest coronavirus news and numbers, just go to tmj4.com/coronavirus.
Still ahead, as we are just beginning this half hour, we'll talk about giving back to the community, how one group is doing just that this holiday season.
Plus, protecting a way of life, how the Indian Community School in Franklin teaches cultural identity. Next.
As you may know, many Wisconsin cities' names come from Native American words. Let's take a look at what some of those words mean. Milwaukee, for example, comes from the Algonquin word meaning good land, combined with the Potawatomi term for meaning gathering place by the water. It's a pretty good description for where we all call home. Waukesha stems from a Potawatomi word that means fox. The word Menominee, as in Menominee Falls, derived from the Ojibwe word meaning wild rice people. Mukwonago from Potawatomi and Ojibwe words mean bear or the place of bears. With more students doing online school than ever before, the Waukesha County Museum has an activity sheet. You can print it off for your kids. They can learn about the origins of Wisconsin's town names. Download it, print it off for free. We have a link to that at tmj4.com/links. Over in Franklin, the Indian Community School continues to weave indigenous teachings into its curriculum.
And the head of the school, Jason Dropick, joins us now. We appreciate you being with us this afternoon, Mr. Dropick.
Good afternoon, Miigwech. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we appreciate it. What is the purpose? Can you, for people who may not know, what is the purpose or mission of the Indian Community School?
Absolutely. So the Indian Community School is here to serve American Indian students in the Milwaukee metropolitan area. We are located in Franklin, but our students come from all the surrounding areas. We're a K-4 through 8th grade school, and our goal and our mission is to continue to cultivate an enduring cultural identity, making sure that students are prepared to be successful in their futures.
What's the most important thing you hope the kids that you're working with take away from these lessons?
Everything, right? So we want them to get everything that they possibly can. That's definitely what we shoot for. But we want students to be confident in who they are. We want them to be leaders in the community, continue to advocate for rights. We saw that when our students were able to advocate for Indigenous Peoples Day, get that passed in Milwaukee County. So they continue to advocate for their acknowledgement of existence and just being valued in society and being comfortable with who they are, learning their language and their culture, learn about the struggles that their ancestors had, and then continue to contribute today.
And so much of the history has been left out for many people. What do you want to tell all of us that we all need to know about our history and Native American history?
Yeah, so what we like to say is American Indian Heritage Day is every day. We celebrate that here at the school, that proud legacy of contributions to community and society, but we don't want it to be thought of as just in the past, just a historical context. We have many Native groups and organizations and individuals that are continuing to thrive and to contribute to society. We want to acknowledge those contributions and continue to urge our communities to advocate for their rights, to continue to support each other, for others to learn about what makes us unique and how we continue to provide those supports, whether it's through our veterans working or people in Congress, really advocating for continued Indigenous rights.
And this really is, as you say, American heritage. And all of us, we all owe a debt of gratitude to all of your people. Thank you very much. Jason Dropick, Indian Community School. We appreciate you being with us this afternoon.
Miigwech.
President-elect Joe Biden made his first round of cabinet picks today, and Native Americans are urging him to make history and choose one of their own to lead remaining departments. Now, more Native Americans than ever were elected to Congress this election cycle. Representative Deb Haaland of New Mexico and Sharice Davids of Kansas defended their seats. Both are Democrats. Incumbent Republican Representative of Oklahoma, Tom Cole, and Mark Wayne Mullen both won re-election. Newcomers include New Mexico Republican Yvette Harrell and Hawaii Democrat Kai Kuhele.
This time of year, of course, a time for giving, and today you can get a hearty harvest meal to go at the Gerald Ignace Indian Health Center.
Perfect timing for all of that. Stacey Hollister joins us now. And Stacey, tell us about today's event. What's going on?
Hi there. So the Community Harvest Feast, this is our 5th annual year we've provided this for our community and patients. This year is obviously a little bit different with it being COVID season. So we still wanted to be able to provide this service and an opportunity for gathering and cultural incorporation during this month of celebration for our patients and our community. So today we have a drive-through style event for our feast, and any of our Native community members and patients are able to drive on through, get a hot and ready meal to go, as well as a make and take meal for the first 100. They're also able to get safer at home kits, a harvest goodie bag that has a lot of the awesome items we're normally providing ambiance for them at the event to be able to take home and do for themselves, as well as incorporation of some cultural items within our food bags. They are able to receive ojapi and squash, which are some traditional foods in Native culture, as well as receiving some sage medicine within their kit and a smudging when they drive through in their car. So all these things are really important that we still provide for the community, offer them a way to gather in their own home safely, and as a way for us to give back and say thank you to our community.
Of course, it's always important to give back, but what is especially important about what you folks are doing out there today?
Sure. I think one of the most important things about this event today is showing our community that we're still here. We're showing up for them, and we're still here as a support for our community and whatever they may need from us. We also have made a strong point to include in these bags a lot of mental health support resources for them, both services that we offer here at the health clinic, behavioral health wise, but also national and other local resources for them. We know this is a hard time for many that are struggling with isolation and not being close to their family members. This might be triggering a variety of different things for them. So letting them know we're still here, we're still supporting them, and we're still available for them for whatever they might need from us.
Yeah, and the people are coming. And Stacey, can you tell us, I see lines and people, cars out there. What are people saying to you? What kind of reaction have you gotten today?
So far, everyone has just been so grateful, thankful that we're still able to provide this for them. They're just really excited that they're still able to receive this service from us. This is normally an event that's very well attended. We usually have around 300 or so people that come, and it's a way for our whole community to get together and gather, which is really an important thing in any culture, but definitely in Native culture specifically. Gathering around food and music, and the drum is a strong cultural strong point. And so, we're not able to do some of those things as we normally do, but they're grateful that we're still able to provide what we can and give them that experience that they can take home and have with their families.
Stacey Hollister, thank you so much for joining us and for making a lot of people's holiday a lot more special this year. Thank you again. We want to show you the information again one more time for this. This year's Community Harvest Feast, drive-through only. Get your turkey dinner and all the fixins. Runs until 6 tonight at the Gerald Ignace Indian Health Center.
Coming up, we continue our special and celebrating our Native American community. We're going to talk tradition and culture. Plus, we'll be joined with a traditional dancer as he shares what this month means to him. Next.
Taking a step back in time to remember the Indian Summer Festival in 2018. It ran for 32 years straight. It was a celebration of Native culture on the Summerfest grounds. Last year, the board of directors announced that going forward, the festival would focus on popular aspects and programming. They hope to reinvent that festival. Given the pandemic this year, organizers were unable to test that out. We look forward to being able to try it sometime in the future.
Yes, we certainly hope that happens. Also, traditional regalia is a powerful mode of expression worn with responsibility and pride.
Ronnie Preston joins us now to talk more in depth about the culture and tell us a little bit about what you're wearing, Ronnie.
I would like to say thank you for allowing me to be here and represent my native community here in city of Milwaukee. I live in St. Francis, and it's very unique that in St. Francis last year, as you had mentioned, the Indian Summer Program, we had a powwow that took place the weekend of Indian Summer last year, right here at Whitmer Memorial Park, and that turned out really great because our community at the time was hurting for a powwow. And so we put this organization together and we went out, and it was the United Indians of Milwaukee, Inc., who put on a powwow to get our community back together because of the hurting from Indian Summer. A little bit about the outfit and the regalia that I'm wearing. I am what they call a grass dancer. My outfit and my regalia represents a little bit about who I am, and this dance, what they often call Mother Earth's hair blowing in the wind. A little bit here when we are done with a few questions, I'll give you a brief demonstration of my dance.
Yes, and you know what? We have to make sure that we get time to show the dance. So we're going to ask you to give us a sample because we know it's a beautiful sight, Roddy. We're running out of time, but can you give us a picture of what your dance is like right now?
I'm going to do it right now in my living room. How about that?
Ronnie, thank you very much. We love, you know what, we love the example and the beauty of it. You know, we really appreciate you doing that for us. And we can really get the spirit even though you're on Zoom.
So many things to leave you with is the use of our eagle feathers, the way we pray for ourselves, and as well as the use of this drum. The music that we dance to, what everybody thinks is, what we tell everybody, to see us dance is to hear our hearts beat. And all of these things come together.
Well said.
Thank you.
Oh, the symbolism is so beautiful. Ronnie Preston, thank you so much for sharing with us. We're going to take a break and be right back. Bravo. Native American Heritage Month does not stop here. The Milwaukee Public Museum has virtual activities for the whole family on its website, and that includes a virtual tour through its Native American exhibit, a Wisconsin Arrowhead game, and a canoe craft project. And if you want more information, we have a link on our website. Just go to tmj4.com/links. And I don't know about you, Steve, but I learned a lot today. This has been fun.
We certainly did learn a lot, Carol, especially Kinnickinnick. Don't forget that one.
I love it. I love all the meanings. Thanks for joining us today on TMJ4 News at 3:30.
Remember, we are always streaming 24/7 on Roku and through the TMJ4 News app. Stick around. TMJ4 News at 4 comes up next.